We think that we think in words. That's not true. Our brain thinks mainly in images,
Mm.
or most of the time. So, but we are so used to that we have the image and then we recreate the narrative. Visions for the brain has a very powerful impact, and I tell you why. There is a saying that not too many people know, that is, visions lead behaviors. And let me explain this. At the moment that, let's say, you want to change a behavior in your life, whatever, personal life, working life, whatever the behavior is, if you follow the sentence I just said, the quote,
Okay.
visions lead behavior, none, not you, nobody can change a behavior if they first don't change the vision.
Huh.
What that means, I will bring back what they say was Einstein quote, but maybe I don't know. You know that they put quotes to famous people one at a time, the same one. He used to say that one of the most insane attitudes in life is to expect different results when we keep doing the same thing.
Welcome to Unleash Thyself, a podcast where we journey into the depths of personal transformation, spirituality, and growth. I am your host, Konstantin Morun, and today we are thrilled to welcome back a special guest for the second time, Carlos Davidovich. Carlos, a medical doctor turned TEDx speaker and executive coach, brings a revolutionary perspective to leadership through the lens of neuroscience. In our previous conversation, we explored the foundations of his work and his book, Five Brain Leadership. And today, we'll delve even deeper into the practical applications of his insights. In this episode, Carlos will share more about creating a compelling vision, the importance of self care, and how understanding our brain's functions can transform our leadership and personal growth. We'll discuss the power of positive imagery, managing stress through red light, green light techniques, and the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset. Get ready for another enlightening conversation as we navigate the neural pathways to exceptional self and others leadership with Carlos Davidovich. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us bring these transformative stories to light. Now let's begin.
Hello, beautiful souls. I have with me for the second time Carlos Davidovich. Carlos, welcome back. How's it going?
Great, Constantine. I'm delighted to be back here and to talk, to have the opportunity to share more things with you together, to have a nice conversation like last time. Beautiful indeed.
Exactly. And I'll start off by saying that since last time, I was so excited after our conversation. I went ahead and I bought your book. For those just listening, it's
Great.
called Five Brain Leadership. It's a pretty thick book, so lots of amazing information in there, right? And I'll have to go through it a second time here soon. But for those listening or watching, definitely we'll cover some of the stuff that's in the book. But if you want to go dive deeper into our beautiful brain and all the other brains that we have, then please pick up the book and go from there. But Carlos, let's start with something that piqued my interest when I was reading the book. I mean, a lot of things did, but this one felt like it's the perfect starting point for most of us in life, and it's something I've been playing with a lot more myself recently, which is creating a compelling vision
Okay.
for our life, right? And of course, from there, it expands to our businesses and to our leadership roles.
Absolutely.
Let's dive into that. What does a compelling vision look like to you?
That is a great question because it has many things behind based on how the brain works. We think that we think in words. That's not true. Our brain thinks mainly in images,
Mm.
or most of the time. So, but we are so used to that we have the image and then we recreate the narrative. Visions for the brain has a very powerful impact, and I tell you why. There is a saying that not too many people know, that is, visions lead behaviors. And let me explain this. At the moment that, let's say, you want to change a behavior in your life, whatever, personal life, working life, whatever the behavior is, if you follow the sentence I just said, the quote,
Okay.
visions lead behavior, none, not you, nobody can change a behavior if they first don't change the vision. What that means, I will bring back what they say was Einstein quote, but maybe I don't know. You know that they put quotes to famous people one at a time, the same one. He used to say that one of the most insane attitudes in life is to expect different results when we keep doing the same thing.
Yes.
And that goes in the same line. When I coach people and I see that it's hard for them to change a behavior, my question change. And I say, describe the vision, how you see yourself regarding X, Y, and Z situation, regarding your work, regarding what is the vision? What is the message? The vision is the message. The
Yeah.
vision is where your mind will try to go, the objective. Therefore, once we have the vision in mind, then we will apply our will and define the behavior to reach that vision. Make sense? It's
Of
not
course.
by chance that companies explore so much the vision of the company. The vision, when I coach companies that they need to go through a change process. And I have a different steps that has to be fulfilled to really install the change in the organization. And the step number one is to create a compelling vision, something that will be attractive to you. It's interesting because when we talk a vision or we talk about change, you know that change is kind of a bad word for the mind, but the brain doesn't like changes.
Yes, of
So
course.
the brain wants to stay in the comfort zone because mainly one reason, because it's safe, number one. But the comfort zone, doing things that you already know the rules, that's the definition of the comfort zone, also means energy saving. And that is very important for the brain. A vision means something that is attractive enough, a compelling vision, that I really want to go there. And if I don't have the final goal, the final vision, it's very difficult that people will move, will be motivated to do something differently. So the power of visions is so high that visions is the only thing that can push us out of the comfort zone. Vision is the only thing that can make us really move forward. Make sense so far?
Absolutely, yeah. So let's break it down a bit. So we know now that vision is very important, right? And we think in pictures, we bring pictures up and then we create a vision. How important is the language behind the vision, right? Because there's pictures and then there's the language that we associate, meaning positive language versus negative language. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm someone that smokes and I want to quit smoking. Would my vision be I want to, or I'm someone that does not smoke? Or do we strive to keep it in the positive? I'm someone that's healthy, doing A, B, and C, and smoking doesn't even make it in my vision.
That is a very good point. I studied myself. I did what is called the training was many hours in hypnosis Ericksonian from Milton Erickson. He
Okay.
used to be a psychiatrist that was very powerful regarding the way he was talking to people, to patients. Very persuasive, let's say. And he developed one technique to stop smoking. I like it because that's why exactly what you brought to my mind. And the technique is to create, first of all, to induce in the client some kind of relaxed state. Let's not talk about hypnotic state, but some relaxed state, more permissive to suggestions. And the whole speech is a vision with a lot of negative things connected with the cigar.
Oh,
No, it's not about the message that it doesn't have any effect about smoking will kill you, produce cancer. Everybody knows that. And you know that companies that are in the business of smoking, they found out that putting all these negative images in the package, you know that, creates even more need to smoke because create anxiety. And to calm down the anxiety, people smoke. So it's exactly the opposite. And in that moment, when they found out that, companies say, okay, we are okay, let's do it. No problem. It doesn't affect our business. You know what I mean? So
I mean, that's
everybody knows the negative connotation. Again, we need to create a vision that will move me to a very healthier place and stop smoking. That vision could be very negative because I mean, in this case, is inducing images of something rotten. I mean, something really bad, bad smell. So you create a place that the next time you will smoke, that will be the connection, and then you will say, "I don't like this."
Very
But to
good.
say somebody that is smoking heavily smoker, let's say, 20 years, whatever, smoking a lot per day. This is not about to talk about healthy issues. It's not about that. Why people smoke? And this is the question. Because there is an essential emotions, positive emotions, connected with smoking. And that connection is so strong that then it's hard to cut. People don't smoke because smoking is nice or has nice taste. It's not true. They hate it.
I
We
can't relate.
con-
I don't smoke, but I've seen people that cannot quit. Right, my father has been smoking all his life for like 50 years.
but is the emotional association with smoking. For your father, definitely smoking always brought something positive as
Exactly,
emotion.
like a relief. It feels
Relief.
like, right, like you mentioned anxiety, right? It's probably likely tied to something to reduce some form of stress
Mhm.
in the body.
So people, your father kept smoking because whatever his life was about, smoking was the nice moment. Was being by myself, feeling calm, feeling relaxed. Come on, it's not about the cigarette. It's what the cigarette is connected with regarding emotions.
And
And what
speaking
you
of
need to cut is that.
I love that. And when you say cut, I'm thinking we're thinking of replacing it because I'm looking at something that I can relate with myself since I'm not a smoker, but I'm someone that I used food as an escape in the
Exactly.
past.
The same.
Right? And it's pretty much right. It's the same thing. And I would imagine other addictions are very similar, right? Be it to harder drugs or even watching Netflix or scrolling on your phone. I would imagine
Exactly.
all of this is triggering something that suits you, makes you forget about the pain and suffering that whatever you're going through, and that's why
Absolutely.
we get so addicted to it. So when we're talking about replacing these, are we talking about replacing them with a similar behavior that triggers that emotion, or are we? What are we talking about?
Some people make the mistake that or think that doing a rational analysis, people can change behavior, explaining exactly the consequences, whatever. That's absolutely wrong.
Hey, it's Konstantin here, and I want to take a brief moment to truly thank you for being a part of this incredible journey of transformation. You are the reason we are creating this content. I see you and I appreciate you. Your support truly means the world to me. I want to ask you for a small favor. I'd love for you to join our mission by hitting like, subscribe, or leaving a thoughtful comment or review. Your engagement helps others discover these insights, and together we can continue to unlock the power of authenticity and personal transformation. And if you want to reach out directly to me, send me an email at constantine at unleashthyself.com. I value any and all feedback. Thank you for being a part of this movement. Now, back to the episode.
And I'm very determined on this. And the only way to change an addiction in this case, and I'm oversimplifying the issue because it's very complex, is replacing the emotion that is linked to the addiction for another emotion equally powerful that will be not linked with the addiction and I will really like. Make sense?
Yeah.
So food, we can talk about dopamine, we can talk about serotonin, we can include many components, but in the end, addiction regarding food, drugs, whatever, alcohol, they are filling a void, I like to say.
Yeah.
And then we need to fill the void with something else that will not be so critically dangerous for our health. I mean, I know many, I mean, very smart people that are obese. I mean, obese, extremely obese. I mean, that they know and they have problem and the cholesterol high and this and a lot of lab tests abnormal, but cannot stop because the emotional attachment is stronger than the fear of damaging my health.
Yeah.
So the work is to find a different motivation that will be also linked with strong emotions.
It's very interesting because what comes up for me, I'm curious to see your take. So, yes, okay, so you need to find a different motivation, different emotion, which obviously it's much harder said than done, I would imagine. But if something, let's say in my case, because I've done a lot of work in this area, I've been someone that was fit at one point, then I got more serious with other things and I didn't care as much. I gained weight, I became obese. Now I'm in the process of shedding that weight. And it's a process, but it's working really well because I tackled that emotional part you mentioned. And what worked for me, you mentioned hypnosis. That's exactly what worked for me, because we were able to go with my therapist through essentially my first 7 years or so, for the most part, and tackle trauma that I didn't even know existed,
Wow.
which of course was causing the emotions. And by healing those parts, some of those emotions, negative emotions, negative ties went away, right? So then it's okay, now you replace it with better emotions. So in the example
Exactly.
you gave, it feels like you also kind of have to find the why behind it, like what's actually at the root cause, because just fixing it by switching an emotion, to me it feels like it's just applying a band-aid, because you haven't really touched the root cause, which means it can trigger back at any point in time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is wow. I talk about hypnosis. I didn't know that was something connected with you. This is interesting.
And it's funny.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm someone that I never thought hypnosis was a real thing, something that was done outside of a stage. And I had some hypnotists on my show early on the podcast. And then I got curious and I said, you know what, I'll try it. And I did a session over Zoom. I mean, all the sessions were over Zoom, and the power behind it was unbelievable. And really, the power is the power of you going into that calm state you mentioned earlier and allowing things to surface up that otherwise you wouldn't allow to surface up.
That is exactly how it works. And there is also hypnosis done well, professionally talking. It's very powerful because bypass all the rational analysis, and all these barriers that we have, all of us we have. And you said something that is so important. I mean, through this, you were able to bring a memory. You
Yes,
were able to bring an emotion, very strong emotion connected with that memory.
correct.
And then you can realize and say, wow, or I don't know what was your case. Oh, I don't need this anymore. So boom, out. Or why I'm carrying with this backpack full of stones I don't need. By so you can make a change, but at least you can identify the trigger. And the trigger is a strong emotion in one way or the other.
It is, yeah, exactly. It's all tied to emotions. And now this is a perfect spot for us, I would imagine, to go back to the compelling vision. Because one thing that I've found with visions, and this is through my own experience, but also what some of my mentors have been talking about, when you're talking about the vision, you have the pictures, you have the words associated with it,
Yeah.
but the feeling part we haven't talked about. Now, what I'm coming to realize is that if you can feel into the vision, then it becomes a lot more real, and you're going to actually get to your vision a lot quicker. I'm curious to see what you found or what you've seen around bringing feelings into that vision component.
Say again, go deeper on that. Can you expand on that?
Yes. So,
I
okay.
love
So
it.
let's say my vision is to build a business, right? That's very high level.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go deeper. Let's say my vision now is to build a business that impacts the world by inspiring, empowering, and guiding and supporting people on their life journey. Now, when I envision this, right, different things will come up: running a podcast, having a coaching business, speaking on stages, running retreats, you name it. So that's part of my vision. But when I go into, let's say, meditation and I look at my vision, I actually visualize it. If I can attach emotions to that, then it becomes that much more powerful. So, meaning like,
Absolutely.
what's the emotion?
Absolutely.
So, let's say I see myself on stage presenting, right? Because I've been presenting on stages for a while, but let's say now I'm switching to talking about personal development, mental health, you name it. What's the emotion or emotions and feelings behind that? Like,
Exactly.
do I feel proud? Do I feel excited? Do I feel overwhelmed? Whatever the emotion might be, right? Ideally, it should be positive emotions. And then if you have those positive emotions, what I've seen is that it really solidifies that vision and it gets you that much closer to it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Totally agree. No comments because you said it all.
Okay, so that's yeah. So okay, so like if we summarize the vision then as start with a vision for whatever future you want, be very clear on what you want, attach feelings to it, and then
Exactly.
that's the first step, right? Perfect. Now, in the same vein, another thing I wanted to talk about from your book as well, what your second chapter is called "Put Your Oxygen Mask On First," or your own oxygen mask first. And that's such a beautiful statement, right? We hear it every time we fly in a plane.
Yeah.
But let's dive deeper into it. Why is it important to put your own oxygen mask on first? I mean, I know it now after many years of not doing that, but I'm curious to see your take on it.
How can you help others if you don't have the energy to do it? In the plane, how can I help your kids or whatever if you cannot breathe?
Yes. Let me answer that, because I used to be that person, by the way. I'd be like, well, I don't have time to take care of myself, so I'll give whatever energy I have to my partner, my kids, my work, whatever it is that I want to help or be good at.
That is a fantasy and an excuse. We use that excuse that we are helping others when we are not. We are just avoiding to help others in the right way.
Mm,
If we don't learn how to help ourselves, if we don't learn what is the process of self management, there is no way to help others in the proper way. You will do a little bit, but you're not giving the quality of help.
yes.
Maybe solving something, but again, if you are out of gas, you will not run too far. You will not take your love people, people you love, too far away if you don't have gas. Sorry.
Exactly. I love that. And I love the way you phrase it. And the way I look at it, it's like it's another illusion.
Exactly.
And we did talk about the addictions or escapes, right? I escape through food, some people through smoking, sex, whatever the case might be. But this also feels to me almost like an escape from dealing with your own problems, just being like, I'm just going to keep helping and doing things for others before I look at myself. And that was me, by the way, for a very long time, perhaps given what I grew up in Eastern Europe during the communist time, but who knows? There's many reasons.
Yeah.
And for me, what was a big turning point was this realization, essentially, that really I can't truly help others unless I take care of myself first. And once I started doing that a few years back, the impact I started having on people without even trying, it just blew my mind away, because I'm like, how does this even work initially, right? It's beautiful.
This is basic, and we, you said it. I mean, we cheat on your and ourselves. We believe things that are not true, and that's the way we deceive ourselves. And we are okay, but we are giving just like this when we can give a lot more.
And you did say something that I will touch upon. I said we believe in things that are not true.
Yeah,
And from my own research, I'm not sure how true this is, I'm curious to see your take. It turns out that our subconscious mind, or even to some degrees our conscious mind, can differentiate between what's true and what's false, between what's in the present, sorry, in the past or in the future. So if that's the case, it makes sense why we would believe lies, because it's whatever we tell ourselves is what we believe, be it
absolutely.
true or not.
And maybe it's time to clarify another thing how the brain works.
Yes, let's do it.
The brain does. I will be a little bit rude. Doesn't give a damn what is true. The brain doesn't know what reality is for one reason, because nobody knows what reality is.
Yes.
All of us, we receive the outside world, the inputs, through our senses. So all of us, we are subjective. So there's no way to know what reality really is. I don't know if still they are doing this, but used to be congresses of neuroscientists and physicists and people trying to describe and to define reality. Nobody can. Nobody was able to do it. Going back to your comment, what is true, what is not true, what is true for you, or what is useful to you? Because the brain, the only thing that the brain cares about is that makes sense, the story. No, that is true. And
Yeah.
that is I think we said it last time, the foundation of, I mean, all these conspiracy theories, fake news, blah, 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 blah. People believing things so opposite, and you say, yeah, but this is true. No, that is your truth. And also, don't get me wrong, I get very mad when I hear people so convinced about things that for me are obvious is not true. And then I had to say, okay, but what to do? I cannot convince them. So it's not about what is true to you. That is the question, because what is true to, okay, or yeah, or to a group of people, let's say. But in the end, you said it also, you use a key word. You said it's a belief. Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. And one thing that came up right now as you're talking about that, what is true to you? So you can challenge that and say, do I agree with this truth? Is there enough evidence for it or not? So you can get curious. And that's where the vision piece comes back in, right? Because your vision can be things that obviously are not true yet,
Yeah.
but you're going to make them true if you believe in them, if you want to believe in them, if you want to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's,
Absolutely.
I love that. Now, I want to pivot here slightly. I actually have the book here on page 105. You have a beautiful exercise. I mean, you have a ton of exercises. So for those listening, that's the gold right there. After you read, you get exercises, and this one I want to bring up and see if you would uh, would be so kind to go through it with me and maybe go a bit deeper so people in the audience can benefit from it. But it's the exercise number 2 called "Grown Up: Red Light, Green Light," under the Train Your Brain to Tackle Organization Transformation with Gusto. And essentially, it's around keeping your amygdala in the green zone
Exactly.
being key, right? Let's talk a bit about that. Let's dive into the amygdala for a second, because that's actually something that I keep hearing about, and I've read about it in your book, of course, and other places. And it's still a spot that I've seen that perhaps there's not enough information out there on.
That's a good point.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, if you could describe it for us, and then we'll go into the exercise and why it's important
Of
to do
course.
something like that.
The amygdala is a small part of our brain. We have two, one in each side, that has the shape of an almond. That's why amygdala is the almond. That is, I like to describe it as a radar. It's a radar
Yeah.
or a traffic light. Has many functions, but is mainly one of the key functions is sensing if something is wrong around me. So
Mm.
it's a radar that is all the time sensing what's going on. I'm in danger. Is any threat around me, close to me? Do I need to feel fear? That's the amygdala. When the amygdala gets to the point that feels something is danger about me, could be a person, could be an idea, could be being attacked by whatever, the amygdala will activate, will trigger two different actions. And this is important. Action number one will call the reptilian brain, the one in charge of emergencies. And we say, reptilian brain, let's activate the survival mode. We need that. We need to understand because something is danger around us. Let's understand if we need to fight, we can fly away, run, or we need to freeze. That is the first action. But the second one, and this is very important, people don't know, the second one is deactivate the rational brain. In other words, when I feel fears, I feel under threat, I need to think how to escape fast, how to survive fast.
Yes.
My prefrontal cortex or cortical is very slow, so will be a roadblock in the process. So the brain, very clever indeed, will deactivate it. What is the downside? If I feel with fears and the threat, I cannot think. If I'm working in an environment where I don't feel safe, psychological safe environment, I'm not feel safe, don't ask me to walk the extra mile. I will do the minimum to survive. When I deal with people that are bullies, let's say, coaching bullies that they like to be very tough with their people, I always ask the following question. I say, listen, are you okay using 50% of your people's potential? Of course, they say, what are you talking about? Of course not. Because you have all your team in survival mode because they're afraid of you. None of them will be able to think or to analyze properly anything, not even to walk the extra mile. What is your choice? And then the process starts, trying to change. Make sense what I'm saying? I don't know. So
Yeah, yeah.
then in a nutshell, amygdala in red is tunnel vision. I cannot see the big picture. I will generalize threat. Everything can be danger now. The focus will be in pessimism, and the warehouse of resources is shut off. It's totally closed. No way to get new ideas. Amygdala in green, exactly the opposite. The warehouse of resources where I can get new ideas is totally open. I can get new ideas and make it happen. I can action them. And now is the wide angle and it's not the tunnel vision anymore. And I will move to a positive emotion instead of focusing on pessimism. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So perfect. So that thank you for the description. So for anyone listening, now you know how that works. And of course, in our modern world, it seems that the amygdala is actually more red than green, despite having less threats to our life than in the past, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to this exercise if you don't mind. So grown up, red light, green light. It's about training ourselves and our amygdala to react differently. How do we do that? Can you walk us through that exercise or any other exercise that you think would be easy for someone to implement and see benefits from?
At work, you need to identify very clearly things, I will say people, places, and activity that will keep your amygdala in a green side. What that means? I know that when I am with this colleague or this person or this friend, I feel okay, I feel good. So I feel, let's say, productive. I feel I can do things. My amygdala is not reacting. I know that when I'm doing certain activities, I'm okay. So I can be creative. The parameters of being calm, creative, no anxiety, okay? The parameters of being able to bring those new ideas are all signals that my amygdala is in green. I need to create two lists. I mean, pros and cons, amygdala in red, amygdala in green. I need to identify what are the situations, let's talk about work, in my daily work, that put my amygdala in green or put my amygdala in red. And there are two consequences. I need to try to be in that first column as long as I can because there I will be productive, or I need to find out by myself or asking others to help me how to neutralize the red, the amygdala in red. And those are concrete actions. When we come to work many times, or we have a specific situation or a specific colleague that is not exactly friendly, the amygdala will be in red all the time, feeling I need to survive, I need to escape. So I definitely need to identify, rationally talking, the two columns. And when I am low in energy, to go to the green side and to do these kind of things. If I maybe with more energy, maybe I can face the other column. But be aware what are the triggers to put you in red or to put you in green. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So bring it to the conscious mind, and then we will not be exposed to whatever happened around. It's like a drive the car, going back to the car. Be you driving the car. I mean, don't let it go by itself. Well, now we have those kind of cars, but it's a different story. But I mean, but I mean, be the driver towards positive place that will keep your amygdala in green. And again, sounds like a esoteric magic. No, 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 no. There are concrete situations at work, at home. What brings you energy? What is the balance of it? What brings you? What puts you in a place that you can be really yourself and not be in survival state? I don't know if you want more information because we can talk on and on and on.
I know we can. No, that's beautiful. Well, that gives us and other people as well a good understanding of, well, why it's happening and what's the first step we can take. Because what I like you touched on upon that, it's like you're looking for the root cause again. Like what's triggering me to be in the flight, freeze,
Exactly.
run mode, right? And once you have the root cause, I mean, it's not like it's going to become easy. Now you have awareness and you have a choice to make. Do you want to deal with it or not, right? And I would imagine there are band-aid solutions, like you mentioned, right? Moving yourself into the green zone, like perhaps deep breathing, meditation, other things. I know that's worked for me in the past, but also dealing with the root cause.
Yeah.
Because if someone, let me ask you this, Carlos, if someone at work upsets me, right? They might be a bully or others. That doesn't matter. Let's say the upsets me when I talk to them. Maybe because they're not pulling their weight, they're not doing something, or they're doing something that upsets me. How much of that is a reflection on perhaps something within me that I haven't dealt with? A reflection of who I am at a deeper layer, because I found that to be very true. In other words, what I'm seeing outside, it's almost like a mirror to my internal self. And
Love
if I can become aware of that and start working on that, then my exterior can also start to reflect that.
I love what you say, Constantine. It's so powerful what you said. Many, not all, okay, many situations that are around us that we don't like, we don't feel good, are just technically called projections. It's like a camera reflecting what is inside to the outside. And then because we have inside that situation exactly what you said, we are only able to see these kind of people or connect with that kind of people. all my couples have the same problem. No, no, you have the problem. That's why you pick these kind of couples or partners. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not about them, it's about your choice. And your choice is based on something that is not in place inside of you. It's not about them.
Yes. I love that. And you mentioned this earlier as well, as where you put your focus is where your attention goes. And
Absolutely.
this sounds like your focus is actually not necessarily done by your conscious mind. This is all done at the subconscious level
Totally.
because of whatever trauma and everything else that happened. And then that's attention being put to project those things. And I can, we can talk about it from a psychological, physiological point of view, but maybe we can go even more esoteric where it's like, well, yes, it projects out. So you have an opportunity to actually face the challenge, fix the problem, and now see abundance in that area.
Love it. That is the second step. The first step is to identify what it is. And
Yeah.
then we have the choice, let's say. I still believe, I no, I still prefer to believe that we have the choice and the will to decide what to do. Because now there's a lot of information saying that we don't have that, but I don't want to go there.
So step two now is to, if I look at the book here in front of me, is to think of as many potential changes you can make to this routine as possible because you identified the routine or the situations that put you in green or red.
Exactly.
Now it's about thinking of as many potential changes. How does that work in practice?
I like always to start saying be realistic and be simple. Maybe it's not in the book exactly like this, but it doesn't matter. The point is, let's not start expecting big changes at once. I
Mhm.
can change because that the brain cannot take it. The brain is prepared to take small changes. The Kaizen technique, small changes all the time, and improving all the time. So I need to learn how to identify what will keep me in the amygdala in green. And I need to learn to be aware when I'm out of that. Because many times we don't know and we're already out and we're already in survival mode. Identify, bring into the conscious mind, because you were totally right, it's an unconscious process. Bring into the conscious mind all this concrete situation that puts me in red, then I can build up on those situations that will keep me in the green side.
Yes.
And could be talking to people, could be doing some activity, could be, drinking chocolate, or they taking chocolate or drinking something, whatever. But something that will put me in the right. And I say it's not hard to understand and to identify those healthy places. It's not hard
Yeah.
because it's strongly, we feel it very strongly.
And what I would came up right now, let me ask you this. So, but it's not hard to identify them yet. We don't necessarily go there by default. I would imagine that if we are in the red zone, it's very hard for us to actually do this exercise. So we need to do it when we're not in the red zone. So
Absolutely.
actually bring everything else
And
back.
if we are already in the red zone, we need to understand how the process works. The brain, to get away from the survival mode, needs time. So when you feel that amygdala is in red and you're in survival mode, don't push yourself to try to move right away. That I need to feel okay, because that's not going to happen. So what I recommend to my clients is buy time. What I mean, do something that will just give you time, and then your brain will switch the activity from the survival mode to the positive emotion and rational mode. That needs time. It's not going to be fast. Some
What?
people, like you already said, breathing techniques you can use. Some people meditation, some people the rule of five, to bring me to the present time. There are several techniques. Mindfulness is a bunch of techniques to keep me in the present time, and then I can get away from negative emotions. That's for sure. Some people is, let's be realistic, is watching a video, is watching a TikTok, something that really will bring you to the right place. And this is very personal.
I love that. So let's take a concrete example because this is something that I've been doing and it's working really well for me. And I'm curious to see your take and if we can expand on it. Let's say there's a conversation I'm part of and it's getting heated and I sense that it's going a direction where certain thoughts and beliefs come up and then emotions get triggered and I go into this red zone. For me, excusing myself to go to the washroom, for example, and taking a couple of minutes
Exactly.
Take a deep breath, right? Go through a couple of exercises I built for myself seems to be doing the trick. Now, of course, you come back into the same environment, but at least you reset your system a bit and you can now cope with it a bit better.
And I will add more one. First of all, love it. So what you're saying is, because you mentioned very important, number one, you were aware that you were moving to the red zone. You were able to stop it and say, I'm going to the bathroom. So all those actions were taken by the real Constantine. I would say the higher self of Constantine.
Yes, yes,
The higher self of Constantine was observing how the other part of Constantine was getting to the red zone. That is the secret. Then you went to the bathroom, you do. I always recommend to do something physical because when we cannot move out from our thoughts because they are too negative, more than 50% of positive emotions come from physical activity, moving, breathing, doing. There are many kind of breathing exercise. There's one called the square. There is another one is breathing with the belly. That is very powerful, breathing with the
yes,
belly, and we forgot how to do it because those are the way that kids breathe, the babies breathe. That release neurotransmitter that will calm us down. Then you say, I need to go back to the situation because I cannot run away. And
yeah,
I will be exposed to the same situation. Yes and no, because you will not be the same person.
yes,
And that will be sensed by the other person. And then the game is a completely different game. You need two to dance tango. And now you started dancing salsa. The other guy needs to change the dance.
powerful. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, and it's actually it's funny because when you say it takes time, right? What I've come to realize myself is at the beginning it takes a bit more time, but then as you get to practice, it's like any other muscle, it gets stronger and stronger.
Exactly.
And you may not even need to excuse yourself. You may be able to take deep breaths as you're having the conversation and you bring that relaxation upon.
Yeah,
And the situations, for me at least, doing this for the last couple of years, has come to a point where, yeah, it's not triggering as much, right? It's not causing as many situations. And when they come up, I have tools to exit the situation.
exactly.
Yeah,
But you're right. More you practice, faster you can go to that place.
exactly.
You can keep the control and stay in the green zone.
Stay in the neutral zone, even if necessary. But yes, and yeah, that's what I've seen. So perfect. So now I think it for the last part of our conversation, this is a big topic that I've seen come up time and time again in the business world, in the corporate world, in our life too. This idea of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset,
Oh my God. Yeah.
and right, and you dedicate a big part of your book to that as well, or a
Yeah.
significant part. And I mean, all of the stuff we talked about right now, it is about growth mindset in a way, right? Because if we would know that by doing something we can improve ourselves and learn, I mean, that's growth mindset already, right? And we're talking about this exercise, which is all about that.
That is growth mindset. Exactly what you referred before.
Yes. And one one mistake I made in the past when we let's define fixed mindset versus growth mindset first. But before we do that, what I was going to say is that when I realized I was doing things that were within the fixed mindset, I thought everything has to be growth mindset. And what I realized it's a spectrum, right? It's like sometimes you're going to
Exactly.
from it, and which one do you want to be in more, right? That's what
Exactly.
it comes down to. So, Carlos, let me ask you this first: how do you define fixed mindset versus growth mindset?
I would say there are two different and opposite attitudes. The person that described this, Carol Dweck from Stanford, she observed kids
Hmm.
that when they were failing or making mistakes, she observed two concrete attitudes. One group of kids, at the moment they fail or made a mistake, they didn't want to try again
Yes.
because they thought that they were not able to do it. That's why to try? And they didn't want to be criticized. She observed another type of kids that when they were making a mistake or failing, the attitude was, I will try again. I will see if I can make it. I will, something I made, I said, they were having this attitude that sounds obvious, but it's not.
Yes.
Fixed mindset is if I fail or I'm not able to do it, I don't have the talent or the intelligence, then I stop trying. Growth mindset is if I make mistake or I do something wrong, maybe I need to learn something. What can I learn from the mistakes? How I can try again until I'm able to do it.
Yes.
So, can it doesn't exist a human being 100% growth mindset, 100% fixed mindset. That's not realistic. This is unreal. All of us, 100% of us, is about the mix of the two of them that will interact based or depending on the situation. I
Mhm.
recognize myself in some situation I'm more fixed, in some situation I'm more growth, depends. Or my first reaction because I'm lazy, I don't want to try them, is fixed, and then my other part will jump in and say, "Come on, what are you going to do? You're going to do nothing? At least give it a try." Am I saying that we can do whatever we want? The answer is no. Am I saying that we can try as many times that we can not stop trying? The answer is yes. This is about trying. This is about learning. Growth mindset is about learning and improving. Fixed mindset is about judgment.
Yeah, I love that, and that's how I see it as well, right?
Yeah,
And
and there is a quote that is in the book. It says, "Smart is not who you are; is how you get." No, it's smart is not something you are; it's something you get. It's a process. So when she found out that when at school they were telling kids, "Hey, you are intelligent. You are very intelligent," the kids stopped trying to do anything because was afraid that maybe he will not or she will not be able to be intelligent again. So let's not take a chance. But when they were telling the kids or the kids saying, listen, hey, what an effort. I mean, you really try harder. That was a nice process. Wow, hey, you can do it better. And they say, okay, this is something I can keep trying. I
yes,
said again, sounds simplistic, but it's so powerful. And in organization, in business, in everywhere, you can see it in the way you talk and in the way you listen. It's easy to identify one and the other.
Carlos, I love that it is funny because I had only one other note on my page, and that was from one of your parts of your book there about praising talent, intelligence, someone with a fixed mindset versus praising the process, effort, strategy, grit, perseverance. And you literally touched on it right now, which is so beautiful to see the synchronicity there. But let's actually dive into that, right? Because I've been in situations where I've seen both, right? And like you said, if you praise the process, the effort, the strategy, that actually enhances someone's desire to be like, oh, you know what? I can keep trying and get looking for results
Exactly.
versus like you said, if it's talent and intelligence, then there's that fear that if you fail the next task, then you're seen as less than before.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's so true. I mean, the concept of the traditional definition of IQ, intelligence, today we talk about seven different types, okay? So it's different story. But the original concept of IQ that is measured by a test, we made the mistake, we as a society, to believe that was a fixed factor. What was proven is that intelligence definitely can be improved with
Mm.
effort, with just trying more, with practice. Talent, we don't born with the same talent. I mean, some people are very talented for music, for art, for math, but that talent can be developed. I mean, when you see these professional players, whatever, basketball and hockey, whatever, they are pros, so they are very good. What they do from Monday to Friday, do they just rest, let's say, in their laurels because they have the talent? No, they don't stop practicing. They don't stop getting better. Then the question is, again, because I want to be realistic, can I be good in whatever I try or be good on everything? No, of course not. Can I be better than me in anything I try? The answer is yes. Don't compare with somebody that maybe has different talent.
I love that, Carlos. And what comes up for me, and this is something I talk a lot with people I work with, and on the podcast too, sometimes when you look at talent, I break it down into two parts. So not necessarily just talent, but us. It's like we have gifts and we have strengths.
Yeah,
And gifts, the way I see it is gifts is what you were born with. Most of us don't know what those gifts are. A gift could be that I'm 7 foot tall, so now I'm gonna be more likely to have a bigger chance at being a basketball professional player, right? So that could be a gift. But it could be a gift that's actually less visible, like height or ability to build muscle or whatever. It could be innate within you. Maybe you're someone that's more optimistic by nature. Maybe you're someone that's more giving by nature. Whatever the case might be, those are your gifts, and you want to identify them and do more of them. And then the strengths is what you talked about. Those are the strengths you build over time, by repetition, by doing something you enjoy doing. So, for example, I work in the corporate world. One of my strengths is organizational change management. Why? Because I got certified, I studied, I was put in those situations. Not necessarily because I wanted to do that to begin with. It's just how it happened.
Yeah,
And now it's a strength. It's not a gift. So that's how I see it, at least.
fantastic. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Carlos. So we covered so many beautiful topics here. I want to give you a chance to see what's top of mind for you. Is there anything that comes up that you want to share? Any topic you want to spend a few minutes on?
Definitely, we are a complex machine as a human being. But I would like the people will always remember, let me use the word the magic of being human. Because, yeah, I mean, AI and they can become more intelligent than human, etc., etc. Maybe yes, but sorry. My belief in the end is a belief. What makes us human being, pure human being, still at least cannot be replicated in AI. I love AI because we can do something things faster and sooner, and we can come. No, no, don't get me wrong. I'm a
Yeah.
fanatic of technology. Okay, don't get me wrong. But when I think that all AI is helping us to arrive finally to the understanding who we are as a human being. You want to call it soul? Call it soul. You want to call it magic? Call it magic. You want to call it spirit? Call it spirit. I don't care. But there is something that is the fire we have inside that puts us in a completely different realm. And thanks to AI, we will be able to do many things. That's fantastic. So the combination is excellent, but believe that we as a human being, we have a lot of more that we can see.
Yes.
So don't give up. That's my thing. Don't give up. Try again in whatever area of your life. Try again. Don't tell me you can't. Tell me that you don't want. Okay. Or tell me how many times did you try? And then we can talk.
What a beautiful message. I love that. And it's a great spot to leave the audience with, because like you, Carlos, I got to a spot. It wasn't that long ago now, maybe 6, 7 months ago now, when I just realized, wait a second. Yes, I have the power to do anything and everything I want, but I have to make the choice. And it's okay to make a choice that doesn't take you in a direction that you could do, because that's not what you want. But if you want something, then you can do absolutely anything and everything in that area.
Oh my God! I mean, Constantine. Thanks to God or energy, whatever you want to call it. I met such a lovely people all over the world that you say, "Oh my God, oh my God." I mean, okay, it's not the place to maybe to share those stories, but again, don't tell me you can't.
Exactly, exactly. And
Don't-
it's funny. I mean, I used to say the same thing, and it's kind of goes back to what we were discussing earlier, right? It's a way to fool ourselves. It's a way to keep ourselves small, because, like you mentioned, the brain doesn't like change, right? The brain wants to keep you safe, wants to keep you alive, and change is scary, and we know that.
Yeah.
And it all starts with awareness. You mentioned that. I talk about it a lot. Like, you cannot start change without awareness. So once you become aware that something is not where you like it to be.
But also, let's add that it's true about that the brain wants to be in the comfort zone, energy saving, but the final result is who where we are today. We are not in the cave time still.
Mm,
So don't get me wrong. In the balance, still to move forward, to do new things, to discover new, that is the driver. And that is what really and I know people very negative, blah 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 blah. And I think I told you last time, Constantine, we are living in the best time ever of this earth
yes.
in every single parameter that you want to measure. That means that the world is perfect, far from perfect. There's a lot of things we need to do, but this is the best time ever for our earth if we compare with the past. Don't tell me to go to the past. Don't count on me.
Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. Love it, Carlos. Well, I want to thank you again for coming back on the show.
No, no, I love that you invited me again. Come on.
Awesome, awesome. So we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much. Thank you to the audience for listening in, and we'll be back.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of personal transformation. Your presence and engagement are at the heart of what we do, and I sincerely appreciate you, your time, and thirst for knowledge, inspiration, and empowerment. Please consider showing your support by hitting like, subscribe, leaving a comment, or writing a review. Your engagement not only fuels our mission, but also helps others discover these insights. For more daily guidance on personal transformation across the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical realms, be sure to visit our website at unleashthyself.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Unleash Thyself Today, TikTok and YouTube at Unleash Thyself, and there we post daily content designed to inspire and empower you on your journey. If you have any specific thoughts, questions, or feedback, I truly value your input. Or if you'd like to have a conversation with me or work with me, please feel free to email me directly at constantine@unleashthyself.com. I would love to hear from you. Together, we're building a community united in authenticity and purpose. Once again, thank you for being a part of this movement. Until next time, continue to embrace your true self and live a life on purpose, with purpose. See you in the next episode.